You gotta work for the life you want. You gotta work for an honest life. You gotta work, 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 work for the life you want. Though I know my love, there's so much to learn.
And we are live.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us on our performance showcase. Every Sunday is my favorite day because we accomplish so much here, every class. And then everybody works so hard during the week with their scene partners. This is a scene study class. And so all the students choose one scene to work on for the full 5 weeks. And it really is a process of finding your characters and understanding the way they think and react, and really making our interaction with each other and with our scene partners to be real and spontaneous. I would like to have everybody introduce themselves to you, and I'm going to ask them to tell you a little bit about their background too, what their acting background is. Many people here got their start studying here, and some of them have been here for a while, and some are fairly new, and why they chose this scene and how this scene helped them to grow in this 5 weeks.
I've been taking classes with Winnie for pretty much my entire acting career.
Which is how long?
Let's see. I want to say it's been like about a year, maybe a little over a year.
Yeah, you've taken some breaks there. There's been some little holes in that, but I think this time around has really been it. You know, it's like the last few times, because you're really here ready to learn.
Yeah, definitely. And the one thing I will say is, like, throughout this entire progression is that when you're actually in her class, you really do learn quite a bit more than you would actually expect, because it's not just about the acting. It's about like the art itself, about how life works, how people behave and they think and they move and react. And it's a much more in-depth analysis than you'd actually think on the surface, because it really is that impactful throughout your entire day-to-day life. And for me, I found that to be incredibly helpful, and I've seen it pay off way further than I have in any other acting class I've ever taken. So some of the other classes I've taken in class in Atlanta, they weren't nearly as good or sophisticated or really get you to that point like Winnie does.
My first class with Winnie was March of 2021. So it's been a while on and off that I've been taking classes with her. And I think this class, I really wanted to focus on staying like fluid throughout the whole process, and more on instinct rather than intellect. So that allowed me to stay spontaneous with, I think, each performance. And I think my scene partner Godwin helped me stay spontaneous as well. And we were just really open to what we were feeling each time we rehearsed everything. And I think that we learned something new about our characters every single time. I don't think I've had a scene where I've learned so much every single time I've done it. And so that was really exciting about this scene.
That's great. So how has acting class changed your life? Is it at all?
I mean, in every way possible. I don't even know where I would start, but I found this class when I was still in New York, and I was so nervous to take it. And I remember sitting up at my desk like this for the very first class, and now I've just really gotten to know everyone really well. And I've left New York. I'm in California. Just got my first agent, and I'm starting to audition a lot more, and hopefully I'll be in LA with Jonathan very soon, and Winnie and
we need
and Joanne. I didn't know you were in LA.
We need acting class parties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am super, super green with a very old dream that I've just kind of kept secret and didn't really want to acknowledge, to be honest, because it sounds fantastical to be an actress, but ever since just kind of like letting go of any perceived outcomes or anything and just focusing on this passion to basically present an interpretation of life to other people, then I can just kind of hold on to the fundamental thing that drives my dream. And so acting class has obviously been such an invaluable part of this process of going for this dream, answering this call, because it tells me that there's a way to be able to do this, and it's not natural. Maybe for some rare talents, it's a natural thing, but it's very unnatural to do something on purpose that is natural, if that makes sense. So, I'm really enjoying the process and just allowing that to kind of unfold and to learn. And particularly in this class, because there's a lot to learn, but I think what I'm really learning from these 5 weeks is being able to take direction and being able to react to what the director, in this case is Winnie, the teacher, wants to see. And so it's like being able to react to that and to acclimate to that, and just being able to deliver what is being asked, I think is such an invaluable lesson. And, I can't wait to see what other lessons I'm going to learn in the next class But I just can't emphasize enough how fortunate I feel to have even discovered this class, because there's so many different acting classes out there, and it can really cost you a lot of money. And a lot of times from what I've heard, they don't even get a lot of attention. And in this class, Winnie gives us a lot of attention. So
too much.
So, I just feel very lucky. So thank you.
So I've been taking class with Winnie for on and off, but for a couple of years. I think my first class was in summer of 2020, which is crazy to think about. Oh my God. And this session, I have been working on a couple different things. One is playing a character who is very over the top, but still making it feel real. That was a big part of it. And in this particular session, I'm playing a character who is very self-obsessed, so it kind of gave me a new way to learn to listen to my scene partner more. Because I started out by being oh, okay, my character is very obsessed with herself, so she's kind of has a wall up. But I realized, no, I still need to be listening and interacting with my scene partner. Just maybe it changes how I interpret what my scene partner says. But we still have to be listening and changing based on the other person and trying to affect the other person. And in terms of how classes changed my life, I think it's, before I took this class, I didn't really have a lot of formal training in acting. And so coming back into doing, shows and doing theater, after having been in this class for a while during that off period, I just felt like I was able to give myself more permission to get fully into whatever I was doing. Cause, beforehand I felt I don't actually know if this is how you're supposed to be acting. I don't know if this is the right way to do it. And now I'm okay, I've gotten so many different tools that I know work and I know I can use. And it's just, so I'm just going to let myself go for it and have fun and use everything I've learned.
Good. Because the techniques that I teach, they're going to be applied to any kind of performing, even dance.
Yeah.
I don't know if when you've been dancing in shows, you have subtext going on. Every movement has a different tactic, really, because it has a different mood or a reason for doing it. You might be doing something that's real choppy and cute, and then you might do something that's very legato. And that can have different subtext behind it so that your whole self is involved in it. And of course, singing, every song is a monologue. I teach singing as well as acting. And, when you really know who you are, where you are, who you're talking to, what do you want, you can really use your lyrics to accomplish something. And we worked together on a character that she played in Shrek recently, and we worked on her voice as well as the acting. And as soon as you got the character and the acting, it just really changed the whole performance. So that was fantastic. And as far as playing an over-the-top character, the over-the-top characters exist in the world. We have some in our life. And so what you need to do is understand that even self-absorbed people, we all know those people, right? But you need to listen just as much. You just need to listen with that character's ears. They want something, usually attention. They want something just as much as the other character who's not over the top, who's very real. And they're listening for ways to get it and ways that they can, try to change the other person so that they'll give it to them. So it's a matter of learning whose ears to use, whose mind to use. And I think that this has been a great experience for you because I believe you and you're really, kind of stretching your boundaries a little bit, broadening your horizons. And I think it's a great character for you to be able to have in your toolbox.
I've been with Winnie for quite a while, and every step of the way, it's been a beautiful journey. At least for me, before I started this class, I felt like I was lost. I really didn't really know what I was doing. I was just like here and there spots and everything, but this kind of gave me a foundation. So every time I'm here, it's a revelation how it's affected me in my life. I now use a lot of context whenever I want to speak. Just try and get a point across with what I want in my mind rather than, it being automatic before. And for this scene today, this class, I wanted to accomplish how to use those words in tandem with the objective to receive the information that I'm getting from my partner. And I didn't want to really just kind of recite the words or just have them just blurt it out. I wanted to tailor each and every sentence or whatever she tells me. I want to receive that in that moment and then respond with the words coming from an authentic place. But to do that, I have to really know what it is I'm saying and what I want to accomplish at that point in time, what I'm saying, tactics. I love it so much. I love the scene. I love my partner so much. I love even the lesson that I've learned from each and every one. Believe me, seeing everybody morph and change and evolve from what they've done from each week proceeding to the next week. Absolutely. It's a learning experience to be able to see how they change and take in the direction and then apply it at that point in time. It's oh yeah, well, yeah, that's great application, just seeing John and Joanna do their magic on screen is, I can't get enough of it, guys. I really can't. Y'all already got.
I'm Becca, and I'm from the Philippines, and I still am in the Philippines. And I've been in acting class in the sub since October 2020 and been taking the Zoom classes since January 2021 and haven't stopped since. My goals for this session was really try to incorporate everything I've learned from previous classes, have those layers memorized quickly, understand my character. And the one that I really did not expect I have the most lacking in this session is being more spontaneous and being more connected with my scene partner. How did acting class change me? Well, a lot. I've met a lot of people around the world, mostly based in the US and Canada. And I feel like I've become more outgoing. I'm very introverted. I try to keep it to myself. It's every time I've seen an interview of an actor, they always say something like, this character will always be within me. And then I understand that because sometimes I think, did I have this for a long time or is it because of the character that I played? And then I realized that maybe that is an aspect of me that I didn't realize I have until playing that character. So I think it helped me figure out myself even more. And also the biggest one is I started enjoying auditions. Because before taking the class, I dreaded taking auditions. I think that's the worst part for me before class. And then I did my first audition after the pandemic happened. And then after walking out of the audition, I feel happy. I feel great. I feel excited for the next audition. And that never happened to me before. So that really informed my decision to take a master's degree in acting and start auditioning. And I'm excited to try out different programs. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, we've been working on her audition material and private lessons, and she's doing so well, and she's preparing all kinds of, Shakespeare and contemporary monologues, and Becca's doing really well. I'm very proud of of her progress?
I'm Shivam. I've been taking Winnie's classes for a little over a year now. Prior to that, I didn't have any acting experience, so this has just been the deep dive there is. And it's been an awesome journey. I feel like each class is different. Each class, you learn more from each of your different scene partners, so that's been fascinating. So I did a scene with Preeti from the TV show The Bear, and it's been quite interesting where in this scene in particular, I've been forced to like be present and react to my partner because so much of the scene is about that. So I feel like from all the scenes I've done, this one in particular, it's different every single time we do it because so much of it is between the tennis game between me and my scene partner. And if I'm not in it, the scene is just completely off the rails. So it's just a matter of just focusing. So that's been really nice in this scene in particular. I've learned a lot about that, being present, reacting to your scene partner. The acting is reacting part.
Good. Yes, because in this particular scene that Siobhan and Preeti are doing, Preeti has the brunt of the speaking, but that doesn't mean that Siobhan doesn't have lots to say, because your character is either speaking with their mouth or they're speaking in their mind. Mm-hmm. They're talking to the other character in reaction as they speak. So that keeps your character alive all the time. So Shivam and Preeti are both constantly speaking, that as every single person here needs to be constantly speaking as they are acting. There are no dead spaces. There's no such thing as a pause in acting. Sometimes there's silence, but that's not a pause in acting because your character is always saying something in reaction to what's happening. So look for that. You know, when we start to do our performances, you'll be able to see both actors at the same time. And that way you can really watch what they're doing when they're not talking as much as you can watch to see what they're doing when they're actually speaking. And it's a great learning experience just to watch them.
I'm Preeti. I just started a couple of months ago. I don't have any prior acting experience, but like Shivam said, it's been really fun to like work on this scene because it really challenged us to like focus on each other. What I learned was like it's important to bounce off of each other's energy because the first couple of weeks I wasn't really doing that and it felt like disjointed. So it's important to like know the relationship with the other person and everything that led up to like what's happening in this scene. So it made a difference.
We really worked hard in the first couple of weeks with your character as well, that your character was being kind of demanding and was confident and really wanted something specific. She's not, which is kind of different than you, right? I mean, you have a tendency to be kind of shy and she isn't, right? She's more like, hey, this is not going the way I want it to go. And I want it to be this way, right? And I know you're the boss, but I don't really want to work with you unless you give me what I want, right? And so that was something that you had to kind of crank your dial a little bit, right? You had to kind of change your whole perspective of what was going on. Don't you feel?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And how has being in acting class changed you in your real life? Has it done that at all?
Yeah, I feel like more comfortable in social interactions, not as anxious because now I'm like more conscious of everything that I say and I'm able to like listen to the other person better too because it like really focuses you to be present.
Yeah. I mean, if your character has to do all those things, if you do it in real life, it's going to help your acting. And if you do it in your acting, it's going to help you in your real life. If you happen to be kind of socially anxious or shy, or just afraid to put things out there, if you play characters that do that, it becomes more natural for you to do it in real life as well. And that's something that I really like to encourage people who are feeling kind of shy in their lives to try acting, because it might really help you in your everyday life.
I'm Hillary. I've been in Winnie's class since the beginning of this year about. I've really been enjoying it every step of the way, really. I feel like I've been able to learn something new every class that I've joined, and I feel like I've been able to progress. So I've really been liking that, and really just feel like I'm starting to understand like a lot of the things that you've been teaching. And in terms of my scene that I'm doing with Hunter, what I would say would be most challenging, there's a lot of like visual cues that I have to read from Hunter and things that I have to assume also that he's responding to me in his head. As we rehearsed like this past weekend, I really felt like I was able to start getting a bit quicker, and that was helping me be more like present and in the moment. So I feel like being able to be specific about my character and those things really help me be more present. And then the visual cues just kind of like I was reading them naturally at that point.
It's easy in the beginning to just kind of take everything evenly, and that's sort of where what your thing is, is that you got your lines there and you just, you're saying your lines and it's pleasant interaction, but there's so much more there, for us to dig deeper and to really figure out how things are affecting you and what you really feel, what you really are wanting, and why you're there. It was pretty deep for us to dig in there and find it, so that you could actually put your character on the spot, which she is, right? She can't
determining
really
all those
there and
details.
be relaxed. Yeah, she can't just sit there and be relaxed, because she's not. She's in a kind of a crisis moment of being with this person that she's wanted to be with for so long and not knowing how he feels, and you haven't been able to get him out of your mind, right, for years, and suddenly you're there. And you kind of plotted to get there, and then he's there. Who knows what he's going to do, what he's going to say? You have no idea. Every scene that you have in a play or a TV show or a movie, it's always an important moment. There are no unimportant moments in any kind of dramatic or comedic portrayal of reality. We have a lot of really boring moments in our lives where there's not really that much going on, but they don't make it on the screen. They don't make it on the stage, because in order to be entertaining, every scene needs to lead to the next to tell the story, right? And so we have to find what's interesting in a scene. We have to make it important with finding why it's important to our character, and finding why it's important to the story. What do we want the audience to think? You're never thinking about the audience when you're performing, but when you're preparing, you need to consider what this scene is supposed to accomplish within the story, right? And we did a lot of that with this piece, right?
Yeah, considering the audience perspective as well, that really helped like change things for me and change my perspective for my character too.
Yeah, I've been with Winnie for just like slightly under a year now. This scene I think was really good for multiple reasons. One, I feel like it was the first time I had like a straight like romance kind of scene. So this was good. Also, I had a lot of reacting to do. Less lines, but a lot of reaction to what Hillary's saying, because again, it's such a difficult situation. We haven't seen each other in like 9 years, and I had to really put myself in my character's shoes, because at first it felt like I wasn't like actually meeting up with the love of my life after all this time. So, it took a little bit to actually make those feelings true for me after making the correct thoughts, lining up, and then trying to relate it to something in my life where I'd seen someone for the first time in a real long time. So definitely like a lot of different like things that Winnie teaches coming together, since it's not just one thing, but it's mainly about the thoughts and creating thoughts that'll make it real for you.
I've been with Winnie since the beginning. It's been a ride. I think with this scene this time around, just really working on continuing to add depth to the layers of the scene and the performance. And I think sometimes we forget when we're just looking into the little phone or computer, the little camera, that we are also responsible for creating the world around us. And obviously I'm in a diner and there are other customers and they are overhearing the things that we're talking about, and just really letting that all setting the stage as well, I guess, is how I'm trying to say that. And then also to remember that I think sometimes it's easy to fall into this just being a scene, but we're actually stepping into a life and knowing all my past traumas, everything that's going on in my life, everything that's happened before this, every interaction I've had with Joanna's character before this is just more to add to it. So continuing to add layers to the performance was my goal this time around. How acting class has affected my life, I think there's a lot of different ways. We now live in California. It's currently 77 degrees and sunny. Back home, it's already snowed once, so I'm glad to be out of there. Number two, I think I'm a lot more self-aware. I've noticed a lot more of my thoughts and my actions and what I'm doing. And I know every actor out there has gotten the script where you see what 3 times in a row, and you're like, okay, how do I make this sound different? And how do I vary the thoughts? And I caught myself doing it with the kids the other day, and my kid was like, hey, Dad. And I went, what? He goes, you'll never believe what I just did. And I went, what? And then he goes, oh my God, I did this in this video game. And I went, what? And I was like, okay, so there's 3 whats in a row, and they were all different, and the subtext and thoughts behind it were all different. So definitely becoming more self-aware in what I'm doing, my objectives day to day, my objectives with other people, and seeing their objectives with me. And I think it's just improving my communication skills, and yeah, good times.
So you need to really watch what you do and then apply it. And, you know, it's not really all that easy. You know, you do it every day, but it's not that easy because you have to do it, you know, with people looking at you and with a lot of distractions, you know, especially when you're on a set or you're on stage and you got a huge audience, that you have to be able to find the reality. I mean, the number one goal of an actor is to be real. That's the number one, you know. I say the most important things in a performance are purpose and relationship. And, you know, there's so many things I talk about that are important, you know, thinking your character's thoughts. But number one, absolute over anything else, is that people have to believe you are that person that you're playing. That's number one. You know, so you can recite your lines all day, and you can recite your lines with a lot of passion and feeling and gestures, but that's not acting. Acting is when they can believe you're really another person, not you anymore, but that the circumstances are actually happening and that you really have this relationship. That's what acting's all about.
I'm Royce. I'm in this class really because I'm excited about getting on screen and being able to work out my acting as a profession. I work with Winnie on a TV show, so seeing actors go and create, great entertainment on a daily basis, it continues to inspire me to do what I have a passion for, which is actually on-screen acting. And this class is really helping me with doing just that and working out scripts and being able to grab scripts and grab characters and really work on embodying them and bring them to life and making them believable. And this class has really helped me in life with just ultimately achieving my objective. Just like the characters we portray, our job, our sole responsibility is to help them achieve their objective. So it definitely translates to real life. Getting my objective accomplished with being a working actor on television and films.
Yeah, Royce has been standing in for the actor that I work with regularly, and there's no reason that he shouldn't be the one that has a stand-in.
Right.
And I'm looking forward to that.
Yes.
Yes.